Okay, so what I want to talk about a little bit now is some of the components of MTSS that are critical for it to be successful. So MTSS truly is a service delivery model. We're trying to deliver to each kid the services, both academically, socially, emotionally, behaviorally, that they need to be successful at our school, right? And so the district has defined six critical components that I'd like to kind of briefly discuss each. The first is leadership. Leadership as me, the principal, the school leader, but also as the leadership team and other teacher leaders, right, that are helping to implement MTSS at the school level. Um, it's important that we have support for implementation, but also communication and resources so that we can ensure that our students have what they need. It's also important to make sure that we have the correct data and that we're looking at that data. The next critical component, obviously, is that there's three tiers. Tier one, that includes instructions that all students receive. Tier two includes intervention and extension, right? And tier three includes intensive, small, or individual groups uh, that have interventions that, for students that are presenting significant barriers to their learning, they really need that extra. It's also important to note that both academic and social emotional behavior instruction interventions are needed. And I would think that on the social emotional behavior side, that we need to have some really intense discussion about how we're going to implement interventions to our tier two and tier three students. The problem solving process is also critical of for success for all of our students. Um, we here at Phillips and across the district are using the Plan, Do, Checked, Act process to look at when we're solving a problem, how successful is it, and how are we monitoring the progress of our students according to the interventions and actions that we're putting in place, right? So it's important to know that the problem solving approach includes defining the goals and objectives, identifying possible reasons why the desired goals are not being attained, develop a plan for implementing evidence-based strategies to attain goals, and evaluating the effectiveness. We do a pretty good job academically, especially with reading, with doing this at Phillips. I would suggest again that some really serious discussion on how are we developing goals, identifying reasons, developing plans, and evaluating effectiveness works on the social emotional behavior side of MTSS. Data evaluation is key in education to helping any student succeed, right? So all of our decision making really needs to be driven by data and in addition to problem solving analysis. So, some important conversation that we have to have is what types of student data are we looking at on the academic and behavior side, but also what type of data are we collecting about our own implementation of both academic and social behavior interventions. How are we tracking our own um, ability to ensure that these systems are working properly? Communication and collaboration are always key in any organization to make things successful. And in terms of how we support our students, it is so critical and so vital that we communicate and collaborate. And today, I hope that we can have some more conversation about how we can communicate better with each other on the progress of our students and also how things are working, the interventions and strategies we're putting in place are working, and then how can we work even better together on meeting the needs of our students. So capacity building is another really important component of MTSS, right? Being able to have these ongoing professional development sessions, scheduling so that staff are allowed to plan and implement, and the processes and procedures for problem solving are also important. Um, this is also an area where we can definitely get better. I mean, our PLCs are in place, our PD calendars in place, but I think strengthening the processes and procedures we use, both for academic and behavior support interventions, um, are key. And those are the critical components of MTSS.